Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get straight to this intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking. And I appreciate your support, man. I'm very humbled by it. Thank you guys. So I seen a video that was sent to me and it was brought to my attention. And I watched it over and over again to kind of get the details and to kind of see what was going on there. And it was a video supposedly taken in Kern Valley, okay? And it showed several individuals on a yard basically stabbing one individual, right? Now, at one point in the video, it looked like there was other people that were assisting this individual being stabbed. But as I looked at it more, it seemed like a pegada, okay? A removal. Now, what does that mean? For those of you that have never been in prison, and most people that watch my channel have been, and that's why they're intrigued by the stories, right? For those that have been, a removal is when someone is no longer welcome on that prison yard. Now, removals can happen anywhere from level 1 to level 4. It doesn't matter. Prison is dangerous no matter where you're at, okay? No matter if it's an S&Y yard, if it's a GP yard, if it's an integrated programming yard, it doesn't fucking matter because at the end of the day, prison is prison. And if you're not towing that line and walking that line, like Johnny Cash says, I'll walk the line, right? If you're not walking that line correctly, then you're going to get your line erased. And what usually happens is a removal is done by your own faction, by your own people. Okay, so if you're a Wood brother and you go in there and you do something, you have an infraction or you break a rule, well, that's up to them brothers right there what they want to do with you. And if they feel that what you've done warrants getting stabbed, well, then that's the way it's going to be. Now, if you're on a level 4 yard or even a level 3, 270, 180 design, there will be no hand play. There will be no, you get socked up. It will be all out weaponry, and that's just the way it is. So looking at this video, it looks like this removal was done by dudes from Southern California, allegedly, right? Just by looking at the way they were getting down, the way they were getting off. But something piqued my interest. Something had me saying, scratching my head. Now, in my estimation, in my history of seeing removals that have happened, and they used to happen quite frequently, as you get to a higher level of yard, removals happen frequently. You know, people are cleaning up trash constantly. It seems like every group is always in the midst of doing some type of removal or cleaning up that yard. It's kind of like the feds when they do a RICO. It's one group after another. They're always investigating. They're always watching. And then you just hear one after another, after another, after another. It's the same thing in prison. There's a group faction. They always got somebody on ice, always somebody on freeze, always somebody that's under investigation for either breaking a rule, like I said, or they came in there on a bad case, or there's paperwork that surfaces on them. Whatever the case may be, there's a number of things that could get you removed. And watching that video, that was definitely a removal. Okay, it didn't look like a riot, didn't look like a melee, but it looked different. Because every time I've ever seen, whether it's North, South, white, or black, and others, natives, do a removal, right? It's usually no more than 4 people. With the Southerners, it's usually 2 to 3 people. One takes them down, the other 2 get on them, right? And the reason is, why would you want to lose that much manpower on a yard? In this video that I seen, the Kern Valley video, there was several people getting off on this guy. Now, either this guy posed a big threat and he was someone that they really had to get rid of, and he actually bled out on that yard and they took him off the yard. That was it, man. Or this was improperly done, or it was done on an S&Y yard. Now, I'm not sure if Kern Valley has an S&Y yard, okay? And if it does, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, I haven't been to prison in a minute, and the yards move around so often, man. It's hard to stay abreast of what's what and who's who. But because this yard, it looked like this whole yard or this whole faction went off on this one individual. To me, it seems like it was an S&Y move. It seems like a group, a dropout gang, or some group decided that they were going to remove this guy and get him up out the way. And in that case, there's no politics to abide by. There's no rules. Everyone can get their issue. Now, this guy looked like there was two initial guys that were getting off and they weren't doing the job right and everybody else rushed. Like I said, if it was the Southerners, more than likely, man, 2 or 3 dudes, they get the job done correctly and they're about the way. Because what happens with, say, like the Southerners and the Northerners is Northerners have squads. They have teams ready that are built for tough. They're on that yard just for that, okay? They know their job, and when it comes time to shine or do their thing, they're going to do their thing. With the Southerners, you know, there's plenty of manpower that's willing to assist the casa, that's willing to defend their household, that's willing to handle their business, whether it be a youngster trying to earn stripes and establish a name, or it's just someone who's like willing to go every time. You know, I remember there was this Norteño, and this homeboy had been doing pegada since the county jail. He was from Modesto, right? Stanislaus County. And when he got there, I remember in Tracy reading his paperwork and some of the stuff that he came with, and it was just fucking move after move. And I asked him, I pulled him to the side on the yard one day, and he was on poste, he was posting, and I was yard security at the time. And I said, hey, bro, let me get at you, homie. He's, oh yeah, what's up? And I said, hey, bro, fuck, huh? You be in the mix like that. He's like, I like doing that shit, bro. He's like, if there's anything that the casa needs assistance on, I got it, right? And I remember thinking, this motherfucker's a psychopath, right? Someone who enjoys doing that, because look, anytime you do a removal, a pegada, anything like that, a stabbing, there's nerves, there's butterflies. I don't care if you're the biggest person on the yard, man. And I know there's going to be dudes, Gunner, he doesn't know. No, I know. Anytime you're going to put metal inside another man, there's a little bit of nerves right there. There's a lot going through your mind. You know, are you going to get caught? Is he going to take the knife from you and do you? Is the gunner going to shoot you up there in the tower? You know, are you going to get more time? You know, are you going to fucking stay on this man and ultimately end his life? Like, is he going to end your life? Is this a setup? You know, there's a lot of things going through your mind. And it's just like when you're fighting or you're doing anything, you kind of pump yourself up. You got to get your adrenaline pumping to where you're just like, fuck it then. It's like the movie Blow with Johnny Depp, right? Remember when he was going to go see Pablo Escobar? And he's just like, it's almost like, no, it's got to be you. It's got to be you. And he was like, fuck it then. Let's go, right? That's how it has to be. That's how it is. You got to kind of pump yourself up. Now, there are people that are seasoned, that have done it many times before, that have been locked up half their lives, that it's like breathing air to them. You know, they just take care of their business and then go back out on the yard or don't. It just is what it is. But this particular dude was involved in numerous removals throughout the county jail, throughout reception. I'm losing my voice. Like, I got stabbed in the neck, right? He was just doing his thing. And I remember asking him, like, why? And he was like, because I'm a striver, homie. You know what I'm saying? I really believe in the cause. And I believe if it's assisting the people, then it is what it is. But really what it was he was a fucking goddamn psychopath. That's really what it was. He enjoyed hurting people until he got hurt, right? So what happened was, in Tracy, he befriended a dude. Now, let me explain to you who this dude was. This dude was actually my channel, okay? When I was functioning within the regiment and fucking with cats out there in Merced, there was a dude from Oakland. How he popped up, I don't know. He was one of the homeboys that from my neighborhood's Taita in prison. This guy got out, and he was a B at the time, meaning he was a northern structure, right? And he got put in position to basically have Merced, and he had his channels and whatever. And so when I was introduced to him, I befriended him, but I never really cared for him. The reason I didn't care for him, he was very arrogant. He was an asshole. He was an outsider coming into our city thinking he was running everything. Now, who were we to tell him anything at that time? We couldn't. He was put and placed in position to run the regiment in the city of Merced. That's just what it was. Okay, didn't matter what city he was from. He was a homeboy, and all homies were the same. He didn't act like it though, right? And this particular dude, He just was trying to overtake certain neighborhoods, influence us with his money and his drugs, and just do his thing. And I remember when I got pulled into the fold, right? And I was fucking with them one day. True stories. I pulled up. There was a safe house, right? I call it a safe house, but it was a home that not a lot of people knew if you went there, you were embraced. You were somebody, right? And I remember pulling up to the homeboy's pad. It was on the north side of Merced, on the other side. And that's about as much as I'll give you there. But I pull up, right? And him and the homies ain't there. And so I'm waiting in the front, and there's a knock, right? Let me explain to you what a knock is, or a patient. It's someone who's on dope. It's a dope fiend, right? And at that time, I was willing and dealing. I'll just say that. And this knock comes up, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm looking for Whoop Doop." He was looking for old boy, right? I was like, "Yeah, he ain't here, bro. I'm looking for him too." And he was like, "Man, you got a ball on you?" I said, "I do got a ball on me," right? He's like, "Boom, how much?" Served him, right? Now you got to understand, this wasn't my money. Whatever I could make on the back end was my money, but this was regiment money, right? This was their shit. And wasn't mine. And so, boom, I get it, whatever, right? Just as he's handing me the money and he's scurrying off, old boy pulls up with my boy from my neighborhood, my boy Porks, right? And he pulls up and he jumps off the car and he's like, "Hey, where's that fool going?" I said, "I don't know, bro. He's jamming." To me, it was just a dope fiend. Looked all tweaked out, right? I said, "I don't know." He said, "Hey, bro, did you serve him?" I said, "Yeah, what's up?" He was like, "Hey, bro, don't be stealing my motherfucking peoples and this, and that," and just went crazy on me. And I was like, "Bro, it's all the same money. I'm about to hand you the money. It's your money anyways, right? I'm about to hand it to you. Like, bro, what happens if you're not here? We're just gonna let the fucking knot go over there to the other side and get it from fucking the brothers or something?" Like, I didn't get it, right? And from that point on, he took a dislike to me. We used to be cool, but he was just like, he wanted to shine. He wanted that transaction to go down, not for the money, but just to say, I'm a drug dealer, right? Which I wasn't even tripping. To me, I'm from Merced. That shit was normal. You know what I'm saying? We've been selling rock since we were born, right? So it just was what it was. Anyways, he took a dislike to me. That dude ends up, when he's in the county jail, fucking a lot of shit up. He was doing some bad things to Norteños, like making them do some crazy stuff that I don't even want to put on the internet. But ultimately, his filth gets discovered. He went to Tracy, and he befriended, oh boy, the homie that was fucking with the business, right? The homie that fucking kept doing removals after removals. The homie was doing a violation. This homeboy pulls up, and the homeboy removes that dude. The one that's crazy, he ends up whacking his own boy, right? And then they double back and whack him too. It's just the way it is, right? The same things you reap is the same thing you sow. So I done seen a lot of things. Back to this Kern Valley stuff, right? I honestly, truly believe that was an SNY yard, or them guys that were involved were not active gang members. And I'll tell you why. Like I said, when I seen Southerners do moves, they don't send that many people. They're not going to disrupt their manpower. Doesn't matter how deep they are. Now, one thing about Southsiders, they send it in waves, right? 2-3 people, another 2-3 people. Like, they got plenty of manpower for that. But to see 10, 15 guys trying to fucking stab a dude on the yard and do all that, I just never seen that from a general population yard, right? Norteños, like, are definitely coordinated, and it's thought out methodically, right? They're not going to just fucking send the whole yard going crazy on one dude. One dude is not worth losing your foothold on that yard, because what happens is this. Automatically, say if it was the Southerners or Northerners, right? I'm going to take them for instance. If they're all going off, that's a lot of dudes that are going to get snatched up and placed in the oil. Now, I know it's a little bit different nowadays. Nowadays, it's a little carefree, because, see, back in our days, you get snatched up, they're probably going to put a packet on you. You're probably going to get fucking, what do you call it? Snatched up, put in the hole. You're probably going to get transferred. There was a lot of things that could happen to you, right? And you weren't going to see the yard for any time soon, right? And if you get validated, if they put the validated package on you, that's the word I was looking for. If they put the validation package on you, then you ain't never going to see a GP yard again. You're going to be in the shoe for the duration on an indeterminate shoe. See, nowadays they're not doing indeterminate shoes. They're not even sending people to the shoe that much. So dudes are like carefree. They don't give a fuck. They're already doing Buck Rogers dates, bull cool time. They're already doing a gang of time. So they'll just stab the shit out of you. So that could be where it's different now. You know, it could be now where everybody's like, whatever. But it's hard to believe that things have changed drastically or that much on a GP yard. You know, to think that the powers that may be, or the people that are there running that yard, are willing to sacrifice and allow the whole manpower, it seemed like half the yard, to get off on just one dude, it makes no sense. It's pretty idiotic, right? when you think about it. When a job can be handled by 2 or 3 individuals, boom, 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 boom. One takes them down, wraps them up. The other 2 get off where they're mad at. And that's that. You know, I seen that whole yard erupt and I thought immediately, oh, they're having a riot or a melee. And as I looked at it further, I realized, hey, they're just hitting one dude. Now, the cool part about the situation, he bled out quick. You see him get hit several times. They were digging him. They run away from the situation. But one of the things I keyed into was the way the officers are responding. They're just spraying them. Okay. Now, I come from an era of old school. Back in the days in the youth authority, we used to get maced. There was different kinds of mace. There was regular mace, which tasted like lavender. It was pretty good, right? It actually tasted good. Then there was the OC spray, which would knock you on your dick, right? There was some different stuff. And I remember they said, fuck this mace, and just started using that OC big old canisters on us. And maybe being youngsters, man, that shit would drop us. That mace, that initial mace, never did nothing to us. We taste that shit and keep fighting, right? Your adrenaline's pumping, you're going. You don't care about getting maced, man. You're going to get off where you're mad at. You better go back to the compa homeboy talking about you took a knee. Like, motherfucker, I fought for 10 minutes. You didn't see that? Nah, I just seen the last 30 seconds. I bet you did, right? So you had to get off. But we've been getting maced, and kind of you started adapting to that shit after a while. Like, it became like fucking, I don't know, like SOS. You got it like once a week. It was cool. I seen these officers while this guy is getting stabbed numerous times by several people, not even attempting to go in and rush and pull someone off. They just spray the spray, and dude just continuously stabbing him to death right in front of him. And they're just still spraying him, hoping that he'll stop. Motherfucker, if he ain't stopped by that first spray, he's probably not going to stop. Okay, his adrenaline's probably pumping as much as that dude's heart's pumping that blood up out of his body, right? It's just, it's crazy the way that the CEOs and the administration are handling these situations and these incidences. And I feel so bad for the families and for the victim. Now, if it's a fucking weirdo that did some weird shit, hey, I can't feel bad for him. But again, hey, a death is a death. But you got situations where these are filmed and they're just immediately thrown out there. You know, there's that lawsuit going on. The Salinas Valley incident where the guy from my neighborhood, Joseph, man, it's his birthday. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday, brother. Today, I believe, right, is his birthday. Or it's coming up within the day or two. I think it might be today, though. And I believe that, you know, his family is willing to go the distance, and I'm proud of them, and I rock with them. Going the distance and holding the people accountable that put out that video, right? And they should. They should, because, you know, they have to wake up every day and see that that's out there, and it's just a sad story. That's why I never put that video out there. And it wasn't because it was I wanted to get views and all that. I did it because I just didn't want to hurt the family more than they've already been hurt. I just didn't think it was a good thing to put, and I just didn't think it was something that a lot of people would want to see. It was bad, right? But the fact that family's having to deal with that video floating around and surfacing, it came from within the CDCR, right? And now you got videos like this. It seems like everything that happened, which is, for a content creator, it's wonderful. It's a dream come true, man, because you get to see these types of videos. But from an analytical aspect, and from looking at it from just a human, you know, it's just not cool, man, to see someone stabbed over and over again on the yard and people cheering about it like, oh, man, that shit was crazy. Did you see that? I've seen it in real life, man. Ain't nothing crazy about it. It's sad. It's a sad existence. It's sad that a person makes a mistake, or it falls out of favor with the same people he was busting the spray with 2 weeks ago, and now they're fucking airing him out and putting holes in them. You know what's sad is usually the guys that are stabbing him are the guys closest to him. That's what's sad. What's sad is this is a tactic that's been utilized for ages within the system, right? And just continues to be like that. What's sad is someone's not going home anymore. And there's dudes. So what, homie? He fucked up. Yeah, he fucked up. How many times in your life have you fucked up and gotten away with it? Or should we just stab you 78 times? You know, it's crazy, but it is what it is. So the main direction I wanted to take in this video is these videos are going to continue to happen as more riots and more removals and things like that happen. But this one in particular boggles my mind. If anyone could let me know the details, because I wasn't able to figure it out. Was this an active yard? Was this an SNY yard? Because that did not look like active dudes handling that business. And I know people are going to be like, oh, yeah, they were stabbing the shit out of him. So what? Doesn't matter. That stabbing is what happens. Not so what that he got killed. I feel bad for him, but I'm saying that doesn't determine whether it was an active people who did it or SNY people that did it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the way I seen all those guys in, that looked like a group of dropout gang members getting on a dude's head. That's just what it looked like to me. I could be totally wrong. Anyways, let me know. Inquiring minds want to know. And for those that cheer on this types of stuff and are like, yeah, man, I like it when I see these pegadas. Yeah, until you're on the other end of the knife. Either side. And you won't like it. I promise that. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. This video is sponsored by Vadio Liquors out there in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the award-winning Vadio Liquors area of Turlock, stop in, get you something cold to drink. Tell Lali I said, what's up? Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service out there in AZ. If you're in the area, man, of Arizona, man, Google the homeboy and get you some good yard service. I appreciate you. Thank you. We're out of here. If anyone can answer that question, I'd surely like to know. Bang, bang.